all, this is Dr. Priti Parekh. Welcome. I'm in Lake Tahoe area today. Lake Tahoe, California, which is known for its natural beauty, also known and popular for its ski resorts. Today we'll be talking about belly fat and ways to banish it. Why paying attention to waistline matters. Belly fat impacts more than just how you look. In fact, it could be an indirect sign of having more visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is something that you see on the outside, but visceral fat is something that surrounds your internal organs like stomach, liver, intestines, and it could also build up in arteries. Men with waist more than 40 and women with more than 35 could be at risk of having more visceral fat. So how do you measure your waist? Take a measure tape, put it around your belly at the level of highest point of your hip bone. Usually, but not always, this is around the level of your belly button. And remember not to cheat. Do not squeeze in your belly while you're doing this. Studies show that excess belly fat can put you at risk for several health problems like heart disease, diabetes, stroke. According to a Dutch study, belly fat increases risk of breast cancer in women significantly. A study of 7,000 people found that those with abdominal obesity were 3 times more likely to develop dementia than those without belly fat. Some studies have linked belly fat to issues like migraines also. There was one study done in California that found that even asthma risk is raised by abdominal obesity. When you put on weight, especially around your belly, your biology shifts out of balance. And so you end up gaining more weight. And it's a vicious cycle. It could be frustrating. There are several hormones that contribute to belly fat, but the 2 major ones are insulin and leptin. Let's take a look at these. Most of us are familiar with the hormone insulin. Its job is to transfer glucose from the bloodstream into muscle, fat, and liver cells. Once there, it can be used as fuel. But when cells are constantly exposed to high levels of insulin as a result of persistent intake of glucose, our cells adapt by reducing the number of receptors on their surface to respond to insulin. In other words, causing insulin resistance. At that point, pancreas responds by pumping more insulin. Now, insulin doesn't just escort glucose into our cells. Amongst other things, it also promotes fat formation. High levels of insulin tells your body to gain weight around the belly. The other hormone, the lesser known one, is called leptin. Leptin hormone is made in fat cells. When the levels are high, it tells your brain that, hey, there is enough fat stored in the body. And so hunger goes down, metabolism speeds up. On the other hand, when the levels are low, your brain thinks that the body is starving. And so hunger goes up, cravings go up, metabolism slows down to conserve energy. So you must be like, hey, that's great, because when I gain weight, I have more fat, then my brain should be able to see high levels of leptin, and as a result, speed up my metabolism, decrease cravings, and I should be able to lose weight. In a perfect world, yes, but unfortunately, that's not what happens, because at that point, you develop what is called leptin resistance, same as insulin resistance that we talked about. At that point, your brain becomes blind to leptin and in confusion thinks your body is starving even though it's overweight. And so the goal is to open up your brain's eyes to leptin so that it can see high levels of leptin and decrease cravings, decrease hunger, speed up metabolism, and so weight loss becomes easier. In short, in order to get rid of belly fat, it's very important to get rid of leptin resistance and insulin resistance. Let's see how. Be mindful of what you eat. When it comes to leptin and insulin balance, it's very important that majority of the carbs you consume comes from the healthy variety. So what does that mean? Carbs are generally divided into 2 categories. One's simple or otherwise known as the unhealthy kind, and the other one's complex or the healthy kind. Simple carbs comes from sugar, white rice, things made from white flour like white bread, bagel, pasta, naan, and complex carbs comes from veggies, fruits, legumes, whole and unprocessed grains, and so on. So what's the difference between the two? When you consume simple carbs, it gets digested and absorbed rapidly, hence causing glucose spikes and high insulin levels. And until that insulin is cleared from your body stays in fat storing mode and fat burning is abolished. Whereas on the other hand, when you consume complex carbs, it's slowly absorbed, slowly digested, slowly absorbed, does not cause rapid blood sugar spikes, and does not cause aggressive insulin response like simple carbs. Glycemic index and glycemic load are the 2 valuable tools in learning to avoid blood sugar spikes. So what are these tools? Glycemic index is a scale that measures how fast a particular food raises blood sugar. For example, those with high glycemic index pump sugar into bloodstream faster than the ones with low glycemic index. An index of more than 70 is considered high, between 56 and 69 is considered moderate, and less than 56 is considered low. Now there's another tool called glycemic load, which is even a better estimate because it not just takes into account glycemic index, but also number of grams per serving of a particular food. Glycemic load of less than 10 is considered low, between 11 and 19 is moderate, and more than 20 is considered high. Now, glycemic load and glycemic index of a particular food also depends on the way you cook it, the way it's stored, and also depends on what you eat these carbs with. For example, mashed potatoes have glycemic load of 17, whereas baked potatoes have glycemic load of 33. Also, an excellent way to improve glycemic index of potatoes is to chill them in refrigerator for 24 hours after cooking. This transforms the starch in the potatoes to resistant starch, which has a lower glycemic index and is also beneficial for your gut bacteria. After you've chilled the potatoes for 24 hours, you can either have them cold or you can reheat them and the resistant starch will remain intact. Likewise, addition of protein and good fat to a carbohydrate-containing meal lowers the overall glycemic index of the meal. Make sure to have enough proteins with each meal, especially breakfast. RDA or recommended dietary allowance for protein is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight or 0.36 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. Now, of course, if you're very active, you work out a lot, then you definitely need more than this. Protein decreases production of appetite-stimulating hormones like ghrelin, and it increases production of appetite-lowering hormones like cholecystokinin or glucagon-like peptide 1. In short, it redirects your gut hormones to shut down your appetite. Last but not the least, fiber. Make sure to have enough fiber in your diet. Fiber helps improve leptin resistance. It lowers levels of insulin and also lowers ghrelin levels. Ghrelin is one of the appetite-stimulating hormones. As we saw earlier, fiber also helps lower glycemic index and glycemic load of foods. Good sources of fiber would be vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and you can even choose to have over-the-counter supplement in form of Metamucil, Isabgo, etc. Next one is sleep. Sleep affects a lot of hormones in your body. For example, leptin. Leptin levels rise during sleep. So if you don't sleep well, your body does not make enough leptin that it needs. And your brain in confusion thinks you're starving, and hence you end up gaining weight, especially around your belly. Sleep also affects insulin levels. In fact, there was one study done that showed that one night of poor sleep, yes, just one night of poor sleep could contribute to insulin resistance. So what is good sleep? Anywhere between 6 to 8 hours is considered good. And it's not just the duration, but the time you go to bed is also equally important. For example, if you go to bed at 12 and get up at 8, it's not the same as going to bed at 10 and waking up at 5 or 6. Sleep that happens between 10 and 12 is very important. And for most of us, so that would be the ideal time to go to bed. Now, one size does not fit all, so there are teenagers out there, there are some night owls who have different biological clock. But for most of us, I would say going to bed at 10 would be ideal. Stress. Stress, like sleep, also affects a lot of hormones in your body. Chronic stress causes low levels of leptin, leptin resistance, insulin resistance. It lowers levels of growth hormone, and low levels of growth hormone can cause weight gain. Elevate cortisol hormones. Cortisol is one of the stress hormones. It also decreases your body's ability to convert thyroid hormone into its active form. And all these hormonal changes slow down metabolism and cause you to gain weight, especially around your belly. So if you think you have chronic stress, please find ways to help you manage it. In one of my upcoming videos, we'll be talking about stress management strategies. Exercise, also very crucial in getting rid of belly fat. And any form of exercise, walking, jogging, biking, hiking. However, studies show HIIT or high intensity interval training helps burn belly fat more effectively. A HIIT workout mixes short bursts of intense activity with rest periods or less intense activity in between. Of course, it places big demands on your heart, so please check with your doctor to make sure it's okay for you. Isometric ab exercises or tightening of the stomach muscles can help you tone them, but by itself won't help you get rid of belly fat. You have to add cardio to your exercise regime. Last but not the least, keep moving throughout the day. Get up and walk around every 30 minutes. Except when you are at a movie theater, folks behind you may not like it. When you move every few minutes, it keeps your metabolism supercharged. The more you move, the more weight you lose. And it's not just for weight, but also for overall health. You've probably heard sitting is the new smoking now. In fact, a large review of studies found that sitting for long periods was associated with worse health outcomes and puts you at risk for diseases like heart issues, diabetes, and even certain cancers. Even if you're going to the gym and working out 30 minutes or an hour every day, it also matters what you do rest of the day. I get asked, what's a good time to exercise? Well, any time is a good time. However, it's beneficial to exercise in the morning before breakfast because our insulin level is down at the time and our body is not in fat storing mode. Also, to improve insulin resistance, it's helpful if you can take short walks after lunch and after dinner. Also, avoid a heavy workout within 2 hours of having a meal, and also not close to bedtime because that can stimulate your body and interfere with sleep. Also, make sure to get your thyroid hormones checked by your doctor. Get a lab test for thyroid because low thyroid or hypothyroidism can also cause you to gain weight. So guys, hope you enjoyed the talk. If you have any success stories to share or any challenges in particular that you face with belly fat or losing weight, please put in the comment below. And don't go yet. Coming up, a couple of clips from Lake Tahoe.